the incoming first vice national chairman of the party, Lawyer Henry Nanabuachi. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Once again, good afternoon. Welcome to the headquarters of the new Patriotic Party. I stand before you this morning not merely to issue a statement or to have an interaction with you, but to sound an alarm. When the institutions charged with dispensing justice become instruments of injustice, silence is complicity. The new Patriotic Party will not be complicit. What we witnessed yesterday, the well-choreographed, well-planned, well-orchestrated acquittal and discharge of Madam Sedina Tamakloe, who stole some 90 million Ghana cedis by the Court of Appeal. What we witnessed yesterday is not an isolated judicial outcome, no. It was the unmasking of a system, and this afternoon, we intend to expose this system and confront it squarely. Yesterday, Thursday, 30th July, the Court of Appeal acquitted and discharged Madam Sedina Tamakloe-Attionu, former Chief Executive Officer of MASLOC, stripped away the judicial ropes and the licensed phrases, and what remained is this: a woman convicted on the multiplicity of accounts of stealing, causing financial loss to the state, money laundering, breaches of our Public Procurement Act. And this lady was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for plundering almost 19 million Ghana cedis belonging to the poorest Ghanaians, the market women, the farmers, the poor traders. These monies are meant for them. And yesterday, she was given her liberty. Barely 7 weeks after the taxpayer funded her extradition from the United States of America. Consider this record, because the record is damning. This was a 5-year trial before a court of competent jurisdiction. 5 good years. The prosecution's case was built on documentary evidence, forensic audit, and sworn testimony. The convicting judgment of her ladyship, Justice Afia-Sewa Asariboche, which we challenge every journalist, all of you here, we challenge you to go and read the judgment. It is very meticulous, count by count dissection of fraud, fictitious disbursement, monies meant for struggling market women dissipated. You remember the Kantamanto market? This woman dissipated monies meant for them. And above all, serious breaches of our Public Procurement laws. No serious lawyer or no serious Ghanaian who has read the judgment can honestly describe the evidence as seen, describe the evidence as anything other than overwhelming. She did not stay to answer it. She fled the jurisdiction mid-trial and was convicted in absentia. A fugitive from the very justice system that has now embraced her and freed her. And yet, within 7 weeks of her forced return, the conviction has evaporated. We ask the questions every Ghanaian is asking. On what principle of law does a mountain of evidence become a mirage? Which findings of fact were perverse? Which directions on the law were wrong? The Ghanaian people are entitled to answers because justice under our constitution is administered in the name, and they can smell what this is. This was not an appeal succeeding on its merit. This was an overcome, procured, packaged, and well delivered. The NPP states without fear of contradiction, this acquittal was politically motivated, well orchestrated and planned, and its timing on the eve of legal vacation, with public attention divided, is no coincidence, and it's not an accident at all. And we hear the Attorney General says he's going to go before the Supreme Court on appeal. It is all part of the well-choreographed plan. Commencement of trial was 30th January 2019. Charge sheet was filed at the High Court Criminal Division. In all, 78 counts were filed. In all, 78 counts were filed. Among these offenses were stealing, conspiracy to commit crime, willfully causing financial loss to the state, conspiracy, improper payment of public funds, unauthorized commitment, resulting in financial obligations for government, breaches of our procurement law, on 24th, and this will blow your mind, Madam Sedina Tamakloe advanced a loan to Obatampa Savings and Loans. It was a check, ADB check. The moment Obatampa Savings and Loans received this check, they asked of the interest. And this is even poor administration of MASLOC. Why would Obatampa ask of an interest after the monies have already been advanced to them? And the interest was mentioned to be 4%. And they said, no, we cannot. Because we deal with farmers here, we deal with market women here, they cannot pay the 4%. And Madam Sedina Tamakloe told the man to return the money. The man should cash the 500,000, cash, and bring it to Accra. The man obliged, cashed 500,000 Ghana cedis, met Madam Sedina Tamakloe at Bachuna Total, packed the money in her car boot, and she departed. And she gave her a written consent that she has received the money. The monies were not lodged into MASLOC accounts. Forensic audits revealed that the monies were never deposited in MASLOC accounts. Yet we are being told that she did nothing wrong. Again, the board approved 1.6 million for her for sensitization and training program. she withdrew more than what the board approved. 1.816 million was withdrawn. Out of it, do you know how much she disbursed out of the 1.8 million? 1,300 Ghana cedis. The rest in her pocket. 1,300 Ghana cedis. Without compliance with the Public Procurement Act, she again signed a contract purchasing 350 vehicles. And it will surprise you. Let me go through it. I'll come back to the Kantamanto fire. Now, in 2016, without PPA's approval, she signed a contract for the supply of 350 vehicles, comprising 150 Avio Saloon, 100 Chevy Sparklights, and 133-seater Isuzu buses. On the Avio Saloon, she purchased one vehicle for $18,883, though the market price was $12,000. The market price was $12,000. Yet she alone bought it for $18,000. On the Chevy Sparklight, she bought one for $16,500. Again, the market price was $9,100. On the Isuzu 33 bar-seater, she bought one for $112,000, $942. But the actual price was $74,493. In all, she pocketed $4.1 million, almost 50 million Ghana cedis. And the evidence is clear. These matters were investigated thoroughly. And yet we are being told that she should go home free with our money. In fact, at a point when a certain Samsung phone was on the market, selling on the market for 100 Ghana cedis, normal young phones, she alone bought it for 400 Ghana cedis. 400 Ghana cedis. You recall the Kantamanto fire, where 1.4 million Ghana cedis was meant for our market women. This woman pocketed 600,000 Ghana cedis. 600,000 Ghana cedis. At a point, she requested that she needed to seek medical attention. She never returned. 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, and she returned 26. And in less than 2 months, she's been freed. Ladies and gentlemen, again, unapproved payment of 273,000. These monies again went to her. She paid herself and her deputy 135,000 Ghana cedis, 82,000 Ghana cedis, 28,000 Ghana cedis as ex gratia, unapproved. And she was meant to go through the judicial process fairly. She was never under any duress. And at the time, following her refusal to join the trial, on an application by the prosecution, the court on 24th, she left on 24th January 2023, ordered that her trial be held in absentia. She left in 2021. And the prosecution relaxed on their constitutional rule just because of fair trial. So 2021, she left. 22, she was not in the country. 23, that was when the prosecution put before the court an application for her to be tried in absentia. And again, to ensure that she was duly notified, the court further ordered that she be served by substitution in the following manner through her lawyers, Agbesi Jakwasu Esquire. Her last known place of abode, publication in the national dailies and on the notice board of High Court for 21 days. After 21 days, she still failed to show up. Then trial proceeded in her absence accordingly. On 16th April 2024, judgment was delivered and she was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. The trial judge in the judgment evaluated the evidence on record, including the cross-examination done by Sedina Tamakloe's lawyers, her charge, and her caution statement. After the judgment, a extradition request commenced under the 1931 extradition treaty with US. By July 2024, all the documentation from the AG's office had been completed and submitted to the US authorities. In August, US informed the AG's office that they had located her in the US. Her residential address was known and all her movement under surveillance. They placed her on the stop list. The US kept updating the AG until January 2025 when government changed. There was absolutely nothing left for government of Ghana to do. Every further step was left in the hands of the US government. Ladies and gentlemen, let me proceed by stating that it has become the modus operandi of this Attorney General. It was an agenda well conceived to free all their people. And I'm going to give you an account on that. Check this. The snitch scandal. Is it not worrying that the High Court in Accra also acquitted and discharged the former Director General and Board Chairman and two others who were accused of causing financial loss to the state to the tune of 70 million, again by just a stroke of pen? The Attorney General entered noli prosequi. And these are accused persons who were told to open their case. The court had ruled that you have a case to answer, so open your defense. Yet, the Attorney General, the current Attorney General, just went to court, entered noli prosequi, and acquitted and discharged all of them. The Unibank scandal. Again, we are talking about a whooping 5.7 billion Ghana cedis. It included the founder, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, and many others. In fact, including even the current governor, Bank of Ghana. And again, the court had ruled that they have a case to answer. Yet, this Attorney General, because it is already a well-conceived agenda to free their people, again went to court with a stroke of a pen, entered noli prosequi. and freed all of them. We are talking about 5.7 billion Ghana cedis here. The Segleme scandal, Honorable Collins Downder and others. The monies involved, they were supposed to build affordable houses. And the monies were squandered. And they were standing trial for $200 million, the monies involved. And yet, the court had ruled that they have a case to answer. They must open their defense. Just when Attorney General, that was possibly the first set of assignment he was given. He again went to court, entered noli prosequi, and the court acquitted and discharged them. Huge money is involved in this. And the Attorney General freed them. Attorney General freed them. These are all monies. These are all financial loss to the state. So we are not surprised that from day one, they had already conceived that we are going to free Madam Sedina Tamakloe. And it is worrying how the Court of Appeal would say. And I have this here, I'll read it out to you. In one of the rationale behind the judgment, Court of Appeal is saying the charge sheet was defective. How can the charge sheet be defective? How? When they never raised this matter during trial, it never came up. Even so, Section 406(1) of Act 30 is quite clear. And I'll read it to you. Subject to the provisions therein after contained, no findings, sentence, or order passed by a court of competent jurisdiction shall be reversed or altered on appeal or review on account of any error, omission, irregularity in the complaint, summons, warrant, charge, proclamation, order, judgment, or other proceedings before or during the trial. And this is quite clear. So you cannot base, even though it is true, assuming without admitting, yes, that there were some errors on the charge sheet, which was never raised during trial. The judges at the High Court, at the Court of Appeal, did a great disservice to Ghanaians. Great disservice. We are talking about 90 million Ghana cedis. And we can just hinge her freedom on the fact that there were some technical errors or errors, even assuming without admitting. So if there were some problems with the charge sheet, it means the person should run away with 90 million, when indeed Section 406 is saying that, look, even if you have some errors or irregularities on the charge sheet, that cannot free. You cannot reverse a court of competent jurisdiction, the decision, based on errors or defects. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a wholesale amnesty for the politically connected, dressed up in prosecutorial discretion. But discretion under our law is not a private weapon. Under Article 296, it commands that it must be exercised fairly, candidly, and without, or it must not be done capriciously. What fairness, what candor is there in a prosecutorial policy whose only consistent principle is that the party card of an accused, Madam Tamakloe-Attionu, stood convicted, so the front door of a noli prosequi was shut. Yesterday, the back door was open to her. The Attorney General did not protect the public purse. He presided over a ceremony of betrayal. And I'm surprised. The Attorney General put in a very weak and a relaxed defense before the Court of Appeal. I think that the judges at the Court of Appeal should have done better. They should not have relied on some of these things, especially when such 19 million Ghana cedis is at stake. Because the Attorney General is part of the choreography. So they put in a very weak defense, very relaxed defense. In fact, it was even captured in the statement. Let me also read this one to you. It was captured in the written submission of the respondent in answer to the appellant's submission pursuant to leave granted by this honorable court. And I'll read just a small portion. We wish to bring to the attention of the honorable court that the record of appeal before the court is not complete. We state that all the exhibits tendered by the prosecution during trial does not form part of the record. The only document found as part of the record are some of the documents which formed part of the disclosure done by the prosecution. So it was even revealed. Dictator. The judge is celebrating Idi Amin in his ruling. In fact, in his ruling, he stated that although all of us are equal before the law, as stipulated by the Constitution, in practice, some are actually above the law. That is what he said in his ruling. And do you know where this judge is now? He has been promoted. He's at the High Court now. He was the same judge who again introduced Animal Farm in his judgment. Such poor judgment, which received several criticisms. That ruling was widely condemned. Yet, he has been promoted to the High Court. So now the impression is that the impression is do the bidding of the sitting government and you receive promotion. So there is a certain fear hovering over the judiciary. And that is why we say democracy under siege, democracy under attack. A judiciary that convicts the opposition on thin evidence in record time, whilst government allies walk free against overwhelming evidence, is not administering justice. It is administering politics in judicial costume. Public confidence in the court is the only currency the judiciary possesses. Your wife is also another great beneficiary of President Mohammed's administration. She was appointed to be Director General Prisons under President Mohammed. So eyes are watching you. If things are not going well, if justice is being skewed, the legitimate questions people will be asking in their minds will be, is it because, my Lord, you have benefited greatly? Eyes are watching. Questions are being asked. And it shows how the Muhammad-led and his law enforcement agencies are weaponizing the power given them by Ghanaian people to prevent citizens from exercising their fundamental human right of free speech. Just yesterday, the hurried reintroduction of the widely decried public tribunal system, an institution Ghanaians rejected decades ago, now being resurrected as an instrument to harass opposition. All of us must fight this tribunal. Media, we must fight it. We must fight it. It is evil. The NDC intends to perpetuate evil with this tribunal. They intend to harass all manner of persons with this tribunal. We all know the tradition. We all know what this tribunal brings to mind. You all know. The courts are doing their work. The courts are doing their work. We must all fight against this tribunal. The NDC intends to perpetuate evil with this tribunal. The suppression and criminalization of free speech with critics of the government facing arrest, prosecution, and intimidation for exercising constitutionally guaranteed rights. The imposition of repressive and onerous bail conditions by law enforcement bodies, designed not to secure attendance at trial, but to punish and harass the political opponent before any court has pronounced on their guilt. The law is that every accused person is presumed to be innocent. But what the NDC, what they are doing with bails, the way and manner, bails are meant to make sure that the accused person is brought before either the court or to aid with investigation. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. Bails are not meant to be punitive. But under President Mahama, and recently even Honorable Haruna Idrisu even spoke against it, bail conditions are being weaponized as instruments of punishment. You go to Yoko, and this is the first time I'm hearing somebody can be giving a bail sum close to about 900 million, 800 million, 100 million, 150 million, 80 million, 50 million. Why? Why? Is this what we voted for? And indeed, if President Mahama thinks that because he was overwhelmingly endorsed, because of that, Ghana was sold to him. Ghana is his private property. So you think that if President Mahama had promised Ghanaians in his campaign message that when I come, I'm going to free Honorable Collins Dauda, I'm going to free Governor Esiama, I'm going to free Dr. Dufour, then he should have incorporated this in his campaign message. Because in the first 100 days, you freed all elements. In the first 100 days. Again, a veiled third-term agenda orchestrated by President Mahama himself. He is the one behind it. You ask President Mahama, oh, I am not interested. Oh, it's only the Supreme Court. There are some applications before the Supreme Court. Whatever day the Supreme Court decides, it is not my issue. As for me, I'm only committed to my third term. We must fight against it. And again, to our judiciary, any attempt to introduce any weird interpretation regarding Article 66 would throw Ghana into a political turmoil. 2 terms, 2 terms. It is dangerous. And people are fighting for it, in fact, including NDC element. And trust me, I can tell you on authority that His Excellency, the President, knows about this. He is behind it. And all of these applications before the Supreme Court, they are politically sponsored. They are politically sponsored. And that is where the fear is. Because now if you have a certain fear hovering around our justice delivery system, and this application is before them, all of us, we must speak against it. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to draw your attention to one development so bizarre it removes any lingering doubt about what is afoot. The Chief Justice of the Republic has issued warrant authorizing these two very justices, Justice Achibonga and Justice Kwakuvite, to sit during legal vacation, which commences tomorrow, 1st August. Think of it. All judges of the Superior Court, it is precisely the two judges before whom every politically charged prosecution of opposition figures are before, who must, and they must not pause, they must work through. Why this indecent haste? What is the emergency? The only reasonable conclusion available to any objective observer is that this is part of the grand scheme involving the Chief Justice, the Jubilee House, and the two justices to rush justice and to convict political opponent at all cost. Justice hurried is justice buried. Trials conducted at a breakneck speed through vacations with accused persons denied a fair opportunity to prepare and present their defense are not trials at all. They are choreographed conveyor belt to a predetermined conviction. Why do we do this? Without a doubt, our democracy is under siege. The 1992 Constitution, for which so many sacrificed, is being hollowed out before our very eyes. And all well-meaning Ghanaians, irrespective of political affiliation, ethnicity, or creed, must rise to defend this. Our demands. The new Patriotic Party demand the following. Since it is now abundantly clear that the Attorney General and the machinery of justice under the administration have no intention whatsoever of protecting the public purse, the Attorney General should, as a matter of consistency and fairness, immediately discontinue and discharge all appointees of the previous NPP administration currently standing trial. It cannot be the case that the law is a weapon against one side on the political divide and a shield for the other. The Attorney General must render a full public account of every case involving persons affiliated to the governing party that has been discontinued, withdrawn, or otherwise terminated since January 2025, together with the reasons thereof. The Judicial Council and the leadership of the judiciary must take urgent steps to restore public confidence in the administration of justice, which yesterday's decision has gravely undermined. Chairman Bernard Ntwibu-Esiaku-Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, must be immediately acquitted and discharged and released. His conviction and the outrageous sentence of 20 years imprisonment with hard labor handed down barely 10 days ago were politically motivated and procured without sufficient evidence. A fact his lawyers have set out more than 20 grounds of appeal, now pending before the Court of Appeal. A call to action. Massive protest ahead. Fellow Ghanaians, the time for silence is over. The new Patriotic Party hereby serves notice that on 6th of August, next week Thursday, 2026, in collaboration with other political parties, civil society, organizations, professional bodies, student movement, youth movement, and all well-meaning citizens, we shall embark on massive demonstration to defend our democracy. We are starting here in Accra and we'll be going to other regions as well to defend our democracy, our constitution, and the rule of law. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the media, for your attention. God bless our homeland Ghana. Make our nation strong. And penny-for, adofo, media for, and central for Moshia. Madaroma, ene jumedie, eye, jumedia, ehunhia ye pa. Na, Samosha, and near Mabia air cost war, our ya tentrin nimuno, ehu, Ye papa Chief Justice, Wadauro Masore. Nano enreye, Madam Sedina Tamakloe, ono. Yabon kwedu, so whatever Ghana sika, no dia wasani srim. Wafa Ghana Japadi and what Johnny free from her. A brand party bar ben pe, the Timia Kofanaba. Now watching me a nunia chirika cray, court is uncle free. Obia of far Ghana sika 19 million Ghana cedis. Otimimo bibusia, no bia busane se. Na insi who said that's what was insi who or hamunchi munai. Or hamunchi munai, where the yentimintia, and if a sikana breme. Sikana young fan call MASLOC accounts mu near the sini car boot no call. Yajisika 1.8 million Ghana cedis. Yada kwakwa yen chechere a 1,003 Ghana cedis per and a mami o yusu ye. Ya kwakwa toka ka ni nyina bo ebedu $10 million. Mami nkwa peje mu a o se ka ne bo eye $14.5 million. Ono nkwa de be $4.5 million e de aka over 50 million Ghana cedis. When you na adanse wo ho. When you na adanse ginam nanso yampemwa. Yampemwa ama ene court of appeal. Aye Ghana bone sonko. Se ene enunti no onko. Na when na kakwan a NDC aban yi abai omo fa so a omo pese omo yi omo nkofo na omo gina 10 ni mu no omo nkofie obe kaya asaglim scandal yeru Collins Dauda ene ni mpanifo aka na $200 million na na wosa asem no mu yese na omo nkofie atoni jono afa ne pen ne paper na de court ya makwan munya obi ankofie Senate mpanifo na ho no mu a omo di Ghana dwirim over 70 million Ghana cedis. Ene eso mun kofi. Senate. Cocoa board scandal ebaye over 271 million Ghana cedis na na ebon mu. Attorney General baya o se o mun kofi eye o the pen paper dia court o yi o mun kofi. Unibank issues ebe mu ehun sikasema na ebon mu nya almost 5.7 billion Ghana cedis. Benefua who na ewom including Governor Bank of Ghana. Omunya ni ese no munkofi munko. Ya depend paper dia court. We a case ye interested be munko. Sa na said na Tamakloe de oyeye. Attorney General court. Wango kanse papa bia wo ho. Asema o kan na munyedu o de atentin huro na court. Na court gina so. Na court ade edi court ho ya wo ne say. Court bo ye sika ho ban. It is Attorney General kwa na omba no anka na asem ya. Court the asudie so da so say o senka tembo esika ho ban. Na ni se wugina so say na charge sheet be defective. Embra no so kire say charge sheet cry defective and asem from so bi wo so kra na. Yenye ne sa, yenka ne sa. Enye se no an say wo so di ko. Da bi, ye hwehwemu. Enei ehu bi aba beto eye Ghana ya 10 years so. Ye judiciary ehu bi aba beto so adentia ekwan ya ye fa so ye yi eye Chief Justice tokunu free ho no emu ohwerem na ehu tene ehu bi aba beto mo so eti asem bia ebekọ bia na efa NDC ni bi ho no ye di no sonko asem bia ebekọ ayefa no MPP ni ho no ye di ni sonko e wo sa 10 ye de ye hwemna no so ne di adwuma nwanwa jaja onu ko ball eye Idi Amin e wo na asem kam se Idi Amin de o se fa ahodie de a o de kasa no betimi de ma na fa ahodie a obenya o kasa de chi no ade de ontimi fa ma na judge o di we say hu enkomo e wo ne nkasa yemu ene judge ama yabona baso ye ne ko high court teneni aba no untumi asemi utumi se o tan bi e wo akire nipa bi no mu piepia ne ma no. Yes, you may not like untumi, but I'm running yamra. Eti obi a said one number kwan so onanya ne concession. Na obi a ono yakwa fa ne say wo na wo betu gold bi oso. Say nipa no ya fa ne say wo bedi adanse kurumu na de tie wo ntumi a wo no ye be mo akọ. Wanka wo nye. No ti akikire nsa de ntumi akọ akọ. Na obi a watam ye 90 million no ye so onko. Ni ono na nya ne krata wonam kwan personal court kra kan so nya ne krata no yesi ngono nko da fiase 20 years na ne wafa ye 90 million no a o dwane free chrome ha a fe nu abasan se na aban na aba no yeso ono nko ene Ghana ha o kasa na se nya aban da ne aba bechewo o kasa na aban ni nyi ho ne aba bechewo na ye ka obi a wa benefit from free speech what kind of kasa bo e da na koma so ke President Mahama. And sembe na President Mahama kwa wan kan for no ne apani na Nadanko Akufo-Addo ho. O se na Nadanko Akufo-Addo ko ye kromfo na busuanfo wie sika ba no. We nya okan. And sembe na minu no mo NDC po manka. And sembe no man kan for judiciary ho. And sembe pa no manka edidi atem fitai. Enkomodie boni. If there is any party are benefiting from free speech, expressing view, so we'll cast someone who come as well. It is the NDC and President Mahama. So why? Then now by ne, yes, ya brand tebi Godfred Ansu Damwa. Ya kwa chino. Ada ya video I buy ya na President Mahama na National Security Coordinator na monoma. Ya ti say President Mahama enum na all can be 150 million bi. Brand say na na form film ni fi fa na eba no. Ya kwa chino. Because of that, ya kwa chino. The President Mahama ti senka wo ba ba mu. E na o ka che Ghana for say me ba ma ba chichi nkofo say ntu senka beto ba na ma. President Mahama, wo ba ba mu no. E na nka wo share bo say wo nam fofo om ye NDC fo a omu gina court anu a atentine ye di o masem me ba me ma attorney general ayiyo mo apepa o mo ho awomakwa. Nti ka fi say Ghana for beto ba ma wo. Ade no anye no campaign promise. Because I come here kwa say e ya de hu hia wo ye pa. Because anya ba ko nya mienu nya miensa. E keka ko be nsia. Na say e ya wa won ko fo no wa bo bi say wo ba no wa be yom. Ade na one can check Ghana for say it's part of your campaign promise. Say wo ba won ko fo a omo gina attention ye ni mu no wo be gya wo mo mako. Ade. Baby adu no me say nya yen so yen kasa. Na ne ya me ya ne say to me a yedema President Mahama no overwhelming massive endorsement and the parliament obianya endorsement massive say bida eno na edidi akọ NDC any President Mahama his excellency mutrim eyo mo se Ghana se aya toma ma omo sanse ni ombe bia no bia nkasa die chinchim yemiam na kesi de na branch onu ne NDC ni NDC communicator etimi call live TV so e se afẹ no list wo na najiman e ko ka se former IGP okum nipa o police headquarters video no ho munya mahu bi o se former IGP kum nipa e bon ko for firing squad e kum nipa o police headquarters ya nche no o kan ya kan se papa ya o hwe small arms so yi ono ne distribute arms e de maboko amom kokon tokwa ebesi ne oda so na mo obi amfa ne sanka no abranti a eni hutiri ho pesempesa okohunahuna ayarefo ewo rage in fact a prime minister no kwa eseti yap committee so onko so cross onko apan so onko obi okuta video na wakohunahuna ayarefo say such a criminal offense onam hon mo bi no oyen bibia ti Ghana ne selective justice ne komana eni ye komana abuja for mesem be bia adu no yen kan ya no ntum the new Patriotic Party nyame aduma next week Thursday on the 6th ye see mountain so ye tin tesikoko akra ben say our democracy is under attack. Our democracy is under siege. We are in dangerous times. Adinja. Say enei saban e kan sa. Yes, say enye abaye obi bia ene chema wontumi yeso okwa appeal. Me ne nsem a yeri ayi maame kwaku vite e de convict no dwu ho wontiase. yen transit and kai kasa bon sheyem nyame ya adomo a on the 6th of August next week Thursday ye beti ye hogu mountain so na nye no nko there will be series of actions ye nye din ade a esie ya nhwe ya Ghana democracy no ebesi ni trust. We are in dangerous times. We are in dark times. And we must be careful. Debia medikaka. Say, Papa Bafuboni. Wada Roma. Ebra ye two justice, Chief Justice Tokunono. Eya wo na bae. Eti obi eka say, you are the greatest beneficiary. Nipane dika. Sanse when you move fast wo. Ebra ye two obi when you move fast wo. You suspend the acting Chief Justice. Ebra ye ni floor no asa be Chief Justice. Ena ye maame Bafuboni nso no. Yewura Mahama so appointed no na on director general ema prisons eti papa se nyima bi wo no ahwe ne obi be free say sanse wanya mfasodie bi afri president Mahama hunti no nyima bi wo no a wontimi anhwe nka san obi be ka no and the person may be right say papa say bi amfasodie bi a wanya afri president Mahama hunti so anhwe ya nyima ne bi wo no a wontimi nhwe ne mu nka ntense da bi and court a call legal vacation. Nanso ya chechiri judges for me enu say chinchina legal vacation no omunko so no muntina eye MPP nsam so. Why the indecent haste? Ye prepare ho sa dia kwan. Madam Sedina Tamakloe, ye did not famre mo even when Ojani ye kwa Africa Ghana ko bi ahwe no 5 good years ansa na edi na asem. Chema won't me asem na 1 year. Ni pepi asem ne sa. Adai. Mr. Media for nyame ya adomo next week Thursday on the 6th. Ye tu ye hogu mountain so. Ye tinte so kokra cha ben. Ye ka cha ban say our democracy is under attack. On tre nyama yi. Se ne nyama si ko ne sa ana edi Ghana. Eja no. Busu afo me das nyame sha.
Of the party for keeping you
okay abusia for yemamo akwaba eni a yeti ye eye nana bi New Patriotic Party amanyuku no no any penny woda no say national organizer or contested for first vice chairman na major announcement eno de atodwa ewo NPP amanyuku de mu nasemu a wo kan se nyame ya domo a nyame ya domo a ya woda ya ebe week Thursday no MPP for any Ghana for ebeka bom na why massive demonstration etia injustices are ekoso ewo Ghana na ni nyina no efa mame Sedina Tamakloe ne nsemu a ebeto dwa sesiye yi eho se yegya no ewo court no eno ho nsem ena sesiye amene kasa yi no ababe to dwa MPP for chese nyame adomene na wotwe wonmu ebeye dwumadi sonko ya eye demonstration sonko obetinte sokoko ede akire aban yi ebusuafo enu akire no sisi amene ekese no ye de kwadu NDC ede kwadu ebo former attorney general ya owo Ghana Godfred yebo adame sisi ye amene okese NDC for ekasa echese owura Godfred yebo adame wobra owo akonwa so no Sedina Tamakloe case no wanye ne ye enenam so ama ene no Sedina Tamakloe-Attionu enya ne ho atitim a wakodidi na sese amene ka say Godfred yebo adame so I issue statement watch ensem no mu the side of the story na Godfred yebo adame asem a wo kan say enkrofo ka say ane sese enu hwemu a ase case no say Sedina Tamakloe wobeko appeal no MPP time ena ne lawyer for file so wobeko appeal enu nti ene ruling aba and sha se mfi NDC for ensem ena owura Godfred ebo adame issue statement si ade to adwa kire say ewom se MPP time 2024 ena Sedina Tamakloe na lawyer for making notice of appeal say wobeko court na wokọ akoye appeal na nso oye no leave of appeal I was enko ye ma asem ne yekodi no wanye ho hwe eno partner ye eno nti na bibie ni ho no mo a no as Attorney General and also corresponded to our court. And will filing leave of will make a notice of appeal letters or person yeah appeal in 2024 no when you bill in February 2024 December year to a year NDC for who say wedding kunimwana February or Mampeni John Dramani Mahama yes when in January no February pepe and I said na Tamakloe na lawyer form echo filing notice of appeal na nkasa ya chese ene muama ene day was it said na Tamakloe so bedu ye no within few days here obedu ye you know when you call dates or call the first assetna or court no pepe court take a decision say ye no and this will be ko gina baby cause no go Fred e bo adame enam so bia ne time ne file say ye be appeal and enam so me agya no a wono no horse what ase a enye yie enam so ama wato ne bo akirikire mu kire sesa wo hwe case no a enam so ma said na Tamakloe ye di no to mu na wo say wo kan case na owura be ho kwan said na Tamakloe fa so a wo di Ghana sika no na asem na ahomete no wo say de ye ne ya na say said na Tamakloe ekọ America no yede ne ba Ghana yi no eka Ghana ban abo enyasem kuma enu nti yede ne ba keke ema yebe jai no ana sesen enu nti enu ho asem na wo kan enu nti Godfrey ebo adame na asem a ode ato adwa ede fasa asemi eho eno no na ye kai wo manfo say enne in the press conference ya owura lawyer Nana B ye no ode ato adwa kire say ya woda ye a ebe no NPP mpanifo ebe ye demonstration massive demonstration ewo enkran ede a kire say eniema ekoso ewo Ghana no enya de say wonumani so ase enyimu bi na ekoso yenyai NDC ni bi owo court bia no e wo say filing no process kwa no okofie ni ejai no na yempe kon bia so na yenchichi NDC for enfengum ena wo chese se aban ne si nani abre ya wo fight corruption a aden NDC for the wo jai wo na kwa bia so NPP for no yempe kon bi so se si ya me no kasa judge for wo Ghana e co vacation now so judge no a yedi NPP for cases ni nyina kwakogu nanimu no say see you know Chief Justice issue directive say judge no kwa adwuma wono the vacation man nkobi and a man break you making sure say wo be di case ni ten na Nana B kire say ni nyina ni adanse ya kire say ase aban yi ene judiciary no aka bom na wo ka bibi wo say Justice Bafuboni ye Justice Tokonu every hono mo e Justice Bafuboni e ba ye say we Chief Justice no Justice Bafuboni ne yere Mrs. Bafuboni nso ena Ghana prison si nyina de na ato ano eno nti access our family no Justice Bafuboni ne yere a benefit pa ena ene no de bia obehunu Justice Bafuboni woni President Mahama ana woni Vice President enam woni wodi asa woni wo bra Ghana yenhu bi da say justice justice of a Supreme Court Chief Justice woni the executive no anka e was independence a dead the independence of those arms of government a dead say obi ade ne ho no ubehu wona wonam wokwa ye bom wodi asa bom wodiri bom woye bibia bom na ebasa ema Ghana for enya entiase ne arehwemu bi sa ase ayi justice system no any executive arm of government no enya twaka enya yonkofa bi a chese ema wo ye judge kra no a ede ehu bi to so say dabi tibia ye wo mo say no tibia ye de eboa empenifo a wono mo ewo NDC aban mu eno ehu nsem na lawyer Nana B ede ato adwa ene abusua ye de dwumade ni nyina besi ha no mo na ya hwe nyame adom ene na wotwe nsɛmtwerɛfo nhyɛmudie no ɛbɛba so mo asɛnde yɛ messages menim sɛ yɛbɛtumi ahwɛ messages no bi a wei wɔ se ne den de Johnny Ansa wɔ se from the ACC nyinaa ɛwɔ Ghana no ɛkyerɛ sɛ Ghana for free BB also from all what is happening in country nowadays there is only one thing calling for and it will one day happen. only God knows. Meaning the worker who was no and inti we so the nebo Anthony Yem ho kra was in the Louis was it today MPP are crying. Was it please make noise and cry more? Ghanaians don't care. Was it and as a MPP for and a suno mubesu musuna Ghana for and fa cry. We so sending a message was in the holistic was say if a king rules well, he is allowed to continue ruling till the people are fed up with him. Or say he will continue to be president till the MPP think like human beings. Okay, when also there was say President John Dramani Mahama will bought ne juma ye papa. When so Eddie the same we are sending a message. Patrick has sending a message. You see, Louis, your intelligence is handicapped, and it is obvious. People tell you to think this way, and that is all you are able to do. Why don't you be NDC sympathizer? Okay, when also the comments and on them so when you be a press so a wohonomo bright SND a message was say the press conference party. Okay, or also for MPP for press conference party. There be MPP for a press conference. Me who messages be brave. Yen fancy hanomo nyami adomo yebesan eshia sounds from afar. Every Canada ena yede ebrewo ebrebia yeda se bebre so ka ye ho ewo MPP press conference yes show na subscribe to Oparidero channel nyame adomo adafoforo yebehia yakraw.